thought not actually go through your mind anymore? If you're trying to lose weight, how could the thought of Ozempic not actually enter the chat? There are so many people on it. You see the commercials all the time. Well, celebrities are on it. So Cassie is on her journey, and she's thinking about getting on it as well. But before we go to her, our producer Tommy has been on, what's it called?
Mounjaro.
It's the same type deal, right?
Yeah. I mean, I got it because I was diagnosed with diabetes finally.
You've just been waiting. What took the Dunkin' so long, man?
I knew it was going to happen sooner or later if I didn't straighten up, but here it is. So every Saturday morning, I'm jabbing myself in the thigh with one of these little pin stick things. And I mean, at first I lost a little bit of weight, but I've got a good tolerance built up.
A good sugar tolerance?
Yeah. So it says the Mountain Dew and Pop-Tarts I just had.
So diabetes is no joke, man.
I know.
Aren't these drugs supposed to suppress your appetite?
Yeah, and it does. I think a lot of mine is
stress eating.
In my head, stress eating. Yep.
And you're determined. You're not going to let any drug beat you.
I need to get that Sean Wheeler in here, that hypnotist, to hypnotize me.
Yeah.
Pop-Tarts and Mountain Dew are the devil.
So at what point will you just go, you know what, this is just not working for me, and try something different?
In the past, I've been able to flip a switch like that and just start working out, start eating right, and I just haven't done it.
I mean, if a diagnosis of diabetes doesn't shake you to your core, what's going to?
It just feels like a word, though, I think, to some people.
Man, my dad had it. That is a nasty disease.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, Cassie here is thinking about, is this the way I want to go?
Yeah, I feel like I have a magic pill presented to me that'll fix all of my problems, and for some reason I'm fighting it. And I stopped the other day to consider why, when it's helped so many people. And, I argue that when you're on social media, your algorithm can be like an echo chamber, and it just shows you what you want to see and what you want to hear. But I'm seeing all these people with similar diagnoses to me. They're either overweight or they have polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, which affects women, and can make it very hard to lose weight because you have insulin resistance, sort of the same thing that it's not the same as diabetes, but that insulin resistance. And that's really what the semaglutide and which is Ozempic, and what Tommy's on, the Mounjaro, are often prescribed for people who are pre-diabetic or diabetic to help with that insulin resistance, and then also for weight loss management. So you have Wegovy is one just for weight loss. And the whole time I'm like, yay, for anyone who's on it. I'm like, I'm so glad you found your solution. No stigma. But when it comes to me, I'm like, no, I shouldn't do that. And I don't know why, because it's been 38 years. Well, I've been struggling with my weight for probably a solid 25 years. And I've tried everything from those liquid can diets to the cereal diets to whatever new fad diet is around this moment, whether it's Weight Watchers or Noom or whatever it is. And I give it my all, and only one has ever worked, and it hasn't worked long term. And so I look back and I'm like, I had the realization I'd been so hard on myself. And I looked at my husband one day and I was like, I don't know why I keep thinking of myself like this fat slob who can't stop eating and eats crap, because I look back at what I eat. I'm like, I'm eating salads every day. I'm making beans for lunch. I have good portions. So I don't understand. It's very frustrating. And sometimes when I go out, I'll have a big old burger or whatever. And I think everyone does that, where they just have days where they just not binge eat, but have a big old burger or a few slices of pizza. But I'm like,
people deem a cheat day.
Yeah. I'm not doing it that often. And so I'm like, I don't understand. And I'm active every single day. I'm either going on walks. I'm not doing high intensity like Orange Theory. Let me be clear.
Don't need to.
No. I am active. And so I'm like, I don't feel like I should be the weight I am with the lifestyle that I am leading.
Is it possible that you're having the same mental fight that I had years ago getting on Effexor? I can handle this myself. I know I can handle, and I felt like I was cheating myself if I allowed myself to lean on a drug before finally doing it and realizing I should have done this years ago.
Yeah, I think I am. And I think it's because I have demonized myself for so long and felt like a failure for being overweight that I couldn't just get it and I couldn't fix it. And I've had a couple of instances getting on different other drugs not related to weight loss where it's affected my appetite. And I'm like, oh, is this how everyone else feels? You don't think about food all the time. Like, you're not constantly planning your next meal or your next snack. And then I've seen videos pop up where people are like, I started taking Ozempic and I stopped thinking about food. And I can look at it and be like, I really want a cookie. And then I can just eat 2 and be like, that's enough, and put it away. And I'm like, that is a thing that you can, is this how everyone is? Is this normal and I'm not? So I think the hesitation is, I know that if I get on it, it'll be a lifelong drug. But my goal isn't at this point so much the weight loss, so that is going to be a benefit to the side. It's, I feel like there must be something in me that is not functioning properly. And I've been trying so hard, balancing hormones. I have a CPAP machine now to like fix my sleep. I am taking Effexor now for my mental health. Like, I've really been trying to get all my ducks in a row to set myself up for success. And this piece is so damn stubborn, and I cannot budge it. And so I'm at the point where I'm like, maybe this is a conversation I should have with my doctor. No, I haven't talked to her yet. I was going to crowdsource info from the Bert Show community first.
Look, there's nothing more deflating than when you're doing everything right and a doctor says to you, you're fighting genetics.
Yeah.
You know, it's really deflating because you're doing everything right, you know?
I'm curious, and just from the mental standpoint of it, and I could be completely off base, but I recently saw a stand up from Heather McMahon, and it was hilarious in regards to overweight celebrities who have lost weight, and those the overweight fans feel like they have been abandoned. So because you have used this platform for good, by the way, to preach body positivity, and I use that word preach lovingly, like it's been very important to you. Do you feel maybe like subconsciously you don't want to do this because you feel like people think that you're abandoning like you abandoning your former self or abandoning them and those, like the overweight community that has looked up to you?
You know, it could be. And I think also there are comments I see online that say, Cassie makes being fat her personality. It's all she talks about. And I'm like, well, that's because I'm lucky, but that's the biggest struggle in my life that I've dealt with. And that's what I know. So I talk about it. There's a little bit of that. And I think mentally, I know as well, I've caught myself having the thought a few times lately. And this is why I try and shut it down. Like really getting in a low place, being like, I just wish I was skinny. Like stuff would be so much easier. Like my husband took a picture of me from the back and I was like, didn't know those pants look like that back there. All right, not going to wear those again because it was just unflattering. And so I have this, I think, also dichotomy in my head where I'm like, accept yourself for who you are. And I truly believe that. But at the same time, I can step back and be like, I recognize that society values skinny people more and life would be easier if I was skinny. And that doesn't mean I want to reject myself, but that, you know, I think having this much weight and eating well and working out and nothing moving is making me feel like maybe there's some other health concern inside that I need to address. So yeah, it's really complicated.
Very.
Because being plus size is part of who I am, but it's not how I identify myself.
Here's our listener, Brittany, that wants to weigh in on this. See what I did? Accidentally. That's God working through me. Hey, Brittany, good morning.
You mean Ralph?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. All right. So are you on Ozempic?
So I'm on something similar. It's called semaglutide. It's basically like the same active ingredient that's in Ozempic. And I've been on it for about 10 weeks, I guess. And I just noticed, so like you had mentioned, you have active lifestyle, right? You go to the gym, you go for walks, all that stuff. I do the same thing. But for me, because I want to lift heavy weight, I don't eat, right? I don't fuel my body enough to say, hey, you're getting stronger. So I see a decline in my lifts and the weight I can put up because I'm on it. And I feel like, in my opinion, when I eat, I get extremely nauseous, like, after the fact. And I don't know if that's for everybody, but for me, it's like I could eat a solid piece of cheese, and I'm nauseous right after I eat it. And I've done everything they've told me to do, and they're just like, oh, well, that's just how your body reacts to it. And I'm like, okay. So I was talking to somebody at the gym, and I told her, I said, I could see it working for people who, you know, are disabled or have sedentary lifestyles where they want to lose weight, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, the only thing I want to add to this, again, is it's a cliche that I've been using for months, and it was very impactful when I heard it, is that there are no solutions, just trade-offs. So here she is saying that she wants to lose weight, but she has a piece of cheese and she wants to puke or can't lift as much in the gym or whatever. There are no solutions, but you're fighting genetics, man. All this is a really good conversation for your doctor.
Can you put in a word with your friend Ralph and have him tweak some stuff? Like, hey, God, can you just change her hormones a little bit?
If you're listening for the first time this morning, you're like, did she just refer to God as Ralph? You're going to need to listen to our podcast. Okay.
The Bert Show.